Let me now review how to add bitmap filters to your bitmap graphics in Director 11. Bitmap filters are plug-in image editors that apply effects to image files, including GIFs, PNGs, JPEGs, PSDs, as well as text and vector shapes, SWF files, and AVI video files. You can also install Photoshop compatible filters to change images within Director. In fact, many of these filters will be very familiar to you if you've used filters in Photoshop, also referred to as effects in Fireworks. You can apply a filter to a selected portion of a bitmap image, to an entire cast member, or to several cast members at once. You can also apply filters to the sprites on the stage. You apply a filter using the ever-present property inspector. Notice that when you select a bitmap or a text object or a vector shape, you'll have a little filters tab in the property inspector with a filters pop-up menu here that allows you to disable all filters, enable all filters, and then add a series of different filters. For example, you can add a glow. Probably better to add a glow to this arrow here to demonstrate. And then there's some parameters that you can adjust, including the amount of blur in both the X and Y dimension, the quality, low, medium, and high, the strength, color, knockout, inner glow. So each of the filters will have special parameters that you can set. Once you've applied a filter, you can temporarily disable it by clicking on the green check mark. That will convert it into a red X, indicating that you've temporarily disabled that filter. But you can add it back by clicking again on the X, and that changes it back to a green arrow. You can also delete or remove a single filter or all the filters applied to that sprite. So let me quickly run through short descriptions and demonstrations of each of these filters here in the Add Filter menu, starting with Displacement Map Filter. The Displacement Map Filter uses the pixel values from the specified bitmap member's image to perform a displacement of the sprite. You can use this filter to achieve a warped or mottled effect. Next, we have the Convolution Matrix Filter. Use this filter to apply a matrix convolution filter effect. Convolution combines pixels in the input image with neighboring pixels to produce an image. A wide variety of imaging operations can be achieved through these convolutions, including blurring, edge detection, sharpening, embossing, and beveling. So the idea here with all of these filters is to experiment with the different settings. There's quite a number of settings in this one, more than most filters that I've encountered in any application, including Photoshop and Fireworks. But you can see that by adjusting these values here, you get different kinds of effects. Pretty much a trial and error. Remember, you can always temporarily disable the filter to see what you're doing. Let's go ahead and delete all of these, or remove all of these filters. Continuing my review of the various filters available in Director 11, we now get to the Adjust Color filter. As the name implies, this filter is used to adjust the brightness, contrast, hue, and saturation of the selected sprite. And there are sliders here for each of these settings. The advantage here is you can use the same sprite but change its hue, saturation, contrast, and brightness to make it look like it's a completely different cast member, but it's not. Next, we have the Gradient Bevel filter. Use this filter to apply a gradient bevel effect to various sprites. A gradient bevel is a beveled edge that is enhanced with gradient color on the outside, inside, or top of an object. Beveled edges make objects look more three-dimensional. And this one takes a little bit of practice. Notice you can change the color of the bevel. I mean, these are really quite involved and require some experimentation and some practice. Let's go ahead and change the color of that right-hand gradient. Notice that I can change the angle and the distance here. So again, this one requires quite a bit of experimentation. I can adjust the inner, outer bevel or do a full bevel on that image. And again, oftentimes it's helpful to temporarily disable that bevel to see the effect that you're having on it. Let me now move on to the next movie and review the rest of the filters, including the gradient glow, bevel, glow, drop shadow filter, and the blur filters.